What's up, you pencil neck geeks? Welcome to the world famous Comedy Store. This is the Store Horsemen podcast. This is the voice of the Dark Architect speaking. To my left, the unbelievably handsome. Is that Debbie Harry? No, is that Dolly Parton? Actually?
It is Dolly Parton.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I bought this in Austin.
You're all about the
Moon
tits.
Tower Comedy Festival. Hi, guys.
There he is, Johnny Scored.
Tile slinging, beer drinking.
Yes.
Dick slapping.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
That didn't come out right. No, that came out exactly right.
Contextually.
I slap dicks.
Right. So that's what I mean. Are you slapping people with your dick, or are you slapping dicks?
No. I think I'm that dude who walks up to you, who's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And like,
yeah.
in
Gives you the
nuts.
turkey slap.
That's
I
not
have
what you
that
did.
vibe about
You
me.
slapped my dick with your dick that one time.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
that was
So
And you heard him right there. That's evil genius Eddie Furfs getting his dick slapped.
Getting my dick slapped with somebody else's dick.
Yeah, totally. You know what? Do you guys ever? You probably don't. But do you ever listen to the Drink Champs? It's this old rapper from the '90s, Noriega. He's on, and it's just booze everywhere, and he just interviews people while they get fucking hammered. It's great.
That sounds like a great show.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Why don't we do that?
Why? I've been trying to get you guys to do that for like 4 years.
I don't know.
All right.
We'll look into it.
We'll do a drunk show.
Yeah, I'm totally into it. Because, goddamn it, if I didn't need alcohol to make it through this week of fucking WWE, listen, I'm gonna. You know what, Eddie?
I don't know if I can help you out of this one, but go for it.
No,
Let me hear it.
it's sad for me that Tony's not here.
Yeah.
Because you two generally, when WWE is at its worst, offer, a perspective of some sort of optimism to that, where we're expected to be like, oh yeah, no, everything's fine. So you tell me, before I even get into any details, you talk to me about this week of WWE.
Oh, I mean, look, I understand where you're coming from to offer the perspective that you're looking for.
Sure.
They put on a show this week,
They
and
did.
that is something to be proud of.
They put on two shows.
They completed 5 hours of television, and sometimes that's not easy. So we should congratulate them for having gotten the show on the air, because sometimes that's all you can do.
Oh, no.
I kind of agree with him. This knee-jerk reaction that you have every time WWE does something terrible.
I don't have a knee-jerk reaction.
Oh, you better get your fucking reflexes tested. Because you came out of your car seething,
on
cursing,
fire,
throwing things at me.
Yes.
And I was just sitting there. I didn't even watch the show. And I was like, oh, damn, must have been that bad.
That's every Wednesday, though.
Well.
No, I pride myself on being as fair as possible.
There's a debate.
Fox News.
I am.
over here.
No.
Fair and balanced.
I give reasons to why I think the way I do. I give statistical data as to why I think the way I do. But I've been nothing but optimistic for the past few weeks. I've gone so far as to praise the WWE in the past few weeks. Have I not?
That is true.
Sure, absolutely.
That is true.
100%.
In general, I would question the idea of fair. But recently you have absolutely come in more optimistic than usual about the wrestling that we've been watching on WWE television.
Well, because it is what it is.
You're almost, I would even go as far as to say you're almost part of the WWE universe at this point.
Listen, I am I am an unscrubbable member of the WWE universe. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not arguing from me ever. I'm the voice of the fucking people. You understand me? I'm the goddamn people's champion of this podcast because I'm not going anywhere. They're not going to lose me. You know what I mean?
He's seeing punk rock.
Yeah.
I am. That's it. I am, but...
You sound like Galactus from the Marvel comic books waiting to swallow up the WWE universe.
But because it's not me that's making them leave en masse. It's not me. It's not me being like, oh no, just give it a chance. It'll be fine. I'm the one who's saying, no, these motherfuckers have not earned your trust. You have no reason to give them the benefit of the doubt when things happen. Please check out the competition because of shit like this week. And then fucking Friday.
Is there one thing in particular?
Oh my God.
Is it the general?
I'm going to listen. So there was a draft Okay, there's a WWE draft. It was announced weeks back in promo.
Let's also just state for the record, anytime we say there was a draft, just automatically assume the air quotes around draft.
Absolutely. These aren't
Clearly
like,
we're putting air quotes, but why waste the finger movement?
Yeah, it's not like people who are unproven that we've never seen before who are now getting an opportunity to do this thing. It's now this person's going to be here. Now this person's going to be here.
For sure.
Yeah.
But they found a way to turn... Okay. Here's where I go into benefit of the doubt mode. You ready for this?
Let's hear it.
Okay. WWE, this is their first time ever treating their draft like it was legitimate sports, right? Mm-hmm. They had a representative from the WWE in Stephanie McMahon.
This already sounds lame. I don't even want to watch this.
Okay, all right, exactly. But I'm going benefit of the doubt. They've never done it this way before. They kept cutting to people like Joe Buck and Troy Aikman and the fucking Mad Money guy. You know what I mean?
Did Stephanie put a hat on everyone and
all
have
those
like
people.
a jersey?
I wish they would have.
Yeah, they should have made some arena entrances.
That's a merge opportunity right there.
Johnny, what
number
you
one
did
pick.
miss by not watching it is that in between some picks, they would cut to, I don't know, I'm even using air
No,
quotes.
I'm getting there, Eddie.
Okay,
I'm getting there.
Because that room was amazing to me.
Okay, so how do you squeeze every bit of excitement out of a fucking potential draft? By not having the superstars who have been drafted make an appearance after their fucking name is called. You just have Stephanie McMahon stand there, who has no affiliation with either brand, literally read lists of names. That was the draft.
But don't worry, she included a fun little intro that automatically let you know who it was before she even announced their name.
He's
bursting
the
bubble.
apex predator, Randy. And it was
Friday night is going to get eco-friendly with Daniel Bryan.
And then,
even though he was already on that show and was already eco-friendly.
Again, I'm getting there. I'm getting to all that. But again, to Eddie's point, occasionally we'd get reactions from the USA team and the Fox team, which I thought was an interesting idea at first. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But who was in the Fox room? Executives that are clearly paid actors. The robot from the NFL Sundays that you see in the cutaways. Legit. I thought it was RoboCop at first. And I was like, oh, that's a nice little throwback to 1987 WCW. But it wasn't. It was the football robot. Like,
on top of which, every time a pick was announced, they all responded surprised. As if we weren't just told that they were the ones making the picks, or that they would have been informed right before. Like, she would make the pick and they would all cheer, like, yes, we got so and so. Like, yeah, but you're the one who picked
do multiple picks in a row. And so how could you be either surprised or disappointed by what you heard? You knew what your picks were.
Okay, but what about this argument against that?
Okay.
For people who have not been tuning into the product and see these people coming in.
Sure.
Like, don't you think that might be a little exciting for someone who has no idea what the fuck they're watching?
No.
Look, I understand the point being that you want to sell the audience on how they should respond, right? You show them the excitement, then they'll be excited. I would say even a layman would understand, like, wait. Why are they acting surprised, though? Wouldn't they have known? Like, why the overreaction? They literally would have just been informed or chosen. Because, again, we were sold that they were either helping to choose or would have at least known who was being announced.
Certainly. When
Stephanie comes out and announces 5 picks at a time on the stage with a graphic.
And they're like, oh. And then there was a guy who had Ultimate Warrior face paint on in one of the offices.
Yeah, there was another office that had both a replica Universal and replica WWE Championship belt sitting in it, even though you would have only picked one.
It was just
you know what I would have liked to see? The Saudis do this draft.
Oh yeah,
They would just start drafting dead wrestlers.
I was to say they'd have picked. We took Andre the Giant,
Yokozuna,
all kind of wild shit. But dude. I mean,
give me Dino Bravo.
Right. It wasn't just that was bad. It was just boring, the superstars didn't appear. The two rooms didn't make any sense, especially since they didn't tell us who any of those people were. It was just a bunch of randos. Mm-hmm. And then it's like you're picking people that are already on the brand, okay, which makes zero sense. Oh, God. I mean, just the whole thing was so unbearably fucking bad. Just, like, so bad.
Do you think this was like the XFL when they told Vince, don't go out there and scream? And,
yeah, and he did it anyway.
And, like, they were just about to do, like, a legit draft, and it was going to be cool, and they had, like, you know, like a very legit way of doing it. And then Vince is like, no. Well, we need executives in this room.
Well, it was... Okay,
fake championship
you know
belts.
what it is? And I heard Brian Alvarez talking about this. Pro wrestling is a work, right?
Sure.
We get this. But the WWE is fake. You know what I'm saying? It's just fake. Everything's fake.
Well, it's a TV show about a TV show about wrestling. That's the biggest disconnect is they are once the
yes.
And it's a byproduct of the Vince McMahon attitude, Stone Cold Steve Austin era where they acknowledged that it was a company owned by a person and there was a show they were putting on.
Yes.
And it's almost a shame because the thing that bore us one of our most favorite periods and acts and storylines also bred this idea that now we're aware we're watching a show about putting on a TV show every week instead of just putting on that TV
but see,
show.
The difference is they had fun in those dynamics then. WCW had fun in that dynamic. Like, oh, the NWO is a separate company trying to do a hostile takeover, which makes absolutely no sense. But it was fun, and there was internal logic into what was going on. Now, it's just they just do things without any thought to how it connects to other things, like whether or not it makes any sense in the minds and psyches of the people watching the fucking thing. And they just throw things at you, and then I don't know, man. Like, look,
there's a Stan Lee adage that I think the WWE has done to an extreme that is no longer helpful to them, which is that Stan Lee used to say that every comic book is somebody's first comic book.
Sure. So
you have to write it in a way that keeps people interested in the story. But if you tuned in to Spider-Man at number 165. You'd need to know you'd need to be able to be introduced to this character, his powers, how he relates to the world, all of these things within that story while also servicing the larger one. The WWE just seems to have taken it to this place where Vince McMahon is pushing it, where every show is literally the first show ever for everyone. Like, even if you look at Seth Rollins' character evolution over the last 6 weeks, not even 6 months. We were talking about him with that steel chair running around backstage. Must have been 12 weeks ago. Not even. People would call him Stone Cold in essence, and now he's.
First of all, I'm going to check your nerd card. It wasn't a Stan Lee thing. It was Marvel editor-in-chief at the time, Jim Shooter. Who wanted to do that.
Well, Stan Lee stole it, just like most others.
But, no. But
that's right, true believers.
But it's like, yes. It's like every episode, there might as well not have been a previous episode. It's just like, yeah, I know. We did that. But you come on. Who cares? It's all wrestling. It's all, look, it's fake. Who cares? Yeah. Like, that's how they treat all their audience. Like, who cares? Well, nigga, if you don't care, why do I? Why should I care?
I'm going to be honest, and the way I feel about it is that there's nobody on the roster, top to bottom, that even comes close to someone that can, like a Cena or a Stone Cold or a Rock that can bring friggin' eyes to the friggin' thing.
But check it out.
The Rock was on the first episode.
Yeah.
And fucking how excited were people just to see The Rock?
But Johnny, we'd never know because they're not even allowed to do what The Rock...
You can tell.
Johnny,
you can totally
tell. I tend to err with Chris on this one. I think the scripted nature of it and the way the presentation is allows it to feel contrived in a way that even if you're tuning in for the first time, and we'll get to it, but we'll talk about Jericho's promo from AEW last week, which was
phenomenal.
Somebody going out there, knowing what he had to do, and being trusted to be a talent to get that thing done. Versus Seth Rollins' recent promos, which are clearly and to that point, I think God, everyone's going to hate me for this, but I think
Burn it down. Is that okay? Is that okay? You want me to do it? Burn it down.
Talks like
he talks like a recording of someone reading something off a piece of paper.
I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks. He definitely rivals the audiobooks for...
I was going to say he's like an extraterrestrial who's been watching television and is trying to fit in.
He's Mr. Bean doing an impression of a pro wrestler.
Exactly. I am fight you.
CrossFit.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just terrible. It's unnatural. It's overproduced. From the announce team to the wrestlers so when you see guys like Austin and Rock who they trust to go off the cuff, it's an immediate difference.
Yeah, it was a different company back then.
And then we get something like Bray Wyatt, who by all accounts, oh no, that's just all him. The WWE isn't having any input. And guess what happened?
Yep.
Got over massive until this past fucking week.
Yes.
Which I don't even want to get into yet. I want to do something else.
If I'm going to provide any optimism in this moment, I will say that while the draft was handled really weirdly,
poorly. Just say poorly.
The placement of some superstars on different shows does intrigue me a little bit. Like there are some moves from left to right.
I'm glad you said
from
that.
Monday to Friday where I'm like, ooh, that would be interesting. Like Charlotte's now on
Look,
Raw.
we're going to the rosters.
Yeah.
Okay,
this
is how
there's
it ended
some promise
up.
there.
They put on a show, like you said.
So Monday Night Raw.
A show happened.
They hit the marks.
Monday Night Raw's roster, run by Paul Heyman, who they acknowledged on the internet that he is in charge of Raw. Kayfabe. Becky Lynch was their number one pick. Okay, hold on a second. We got a little interruption here, and I don't mean by the Fiend. Woken Matt.
This is the Woken Matt.
That's him. What's up, buddy?
I'm just chilling. Just got done watching Dynamite, actually.
Oh, that's fantastic, man. Well, we're getting into this. I already spoke upon the travesty, what that was the WWE draft these past couple episodes, and now we're getting into the actual. Yeah.
Was that the Ultimate Warrior? Are you the Ultimate Warrior?
I'm the ultimate snorier.
You didn't enjoy just watching Stephanie McMahon read lists?
There's only one list in wrestling I care about.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
And he works for AEW now.
Exactly.
All right, so here's the Monday Night Raw roster. Becky Lynch.
Is this in order of drafting?
It is actually in draft order.
Oh, God.
Becky Lynch, the OC. Now, off top. The OC is picked as one pick. They make it clear that teams are one pick.
Unless decided otherwise by the executives at Fox and Universal.
They didn't do that until until Monday Night Raw, when people were like, what the fuck happened on SmackDown where they were picking tag teams separately and as units? But I digress. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Ricochet, Bobby Lashley, Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, okay? Separately picked. We'll get into that in a second. Kevin Owens, who is apparently very pissed that he was moved because, you built up an entire storyline where he says that he needs to save SmackDown Live from the intrusion of an overbearing authority figure in Shane McMahon, gets that victory on the first episode, drafted immediately to Raw.
It sounds like Kevin Owens is overthinking this. It sounds like he's overthinking this. Calm down, Kevin Owens.
Oh, man.
Stun, Owens, stun.
Natalia, the Viking Raiders, who are now the new WWE Raw Tag Team Champions as of this week.
They shouldn't have smiled when they won. Anyways. The
Street Profits.
That was very Viking experience of them.
Yeah.
Who I guess now are officially not in NXT anymore.
Who's that?
The Street Profits.
Oh.
EC3, who knows if we'll ever see that fucker wrestle. Eric Young, same story. Sin Cara, same story. Seth Rollins, Charlotte Flair, as you said, are moving over from SmackDown. And, we say that, moving over from SmackDown. How many people watching do you think remembered who was on what fucking brand with this
very tough
wild card rule that's been running rampant
very
the last
tough
few weeks? So already the impact of the draft doesn't hit
I'm
really.
gonna go one further and be like, I don't really believe these two lists.
Right.
You say this, but what's gonna stop Becky Lynch from showing up on a Friday night? What's gonna stop Charlotte Flair from showing up on a Friday? What's gonna stop Brock Lesnar from being there on a Monday?
Oh, we'll get into that too. So we got Andrade with Zelina Vega because apparently your manager comes with you too if they're a wrestler. The Kabuki Warriors, who are now, like I said, they're the women's tag team champions, so they'll be traveling. Mm-hmm. That's official still.
Okay. Yeah.
Rusev, Aleister Black, Cedric Alexander, Umberto, Eric Rowan, Buddy Murphy, Jinder Mahal, R-Truth, Samoa Joe, Akira Tozawa, Shelton Benjamin.
You should have heard how happy they were to draft fucking Jinder Mahal.
Oh, yeah.
My God.
It was unbelievable.
Josh? Just hearing you read that list makes me understand why you were so mad about the draft on SmackDown.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, well.
Hello!
Rey Mysterio, Titus O'Neil, Liv Morgan, and then the free agents that were picked up as of today: No Way Jose, Mojo Rawley, Sarah Logan, the Iconics, and Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins.
Oh, that's funny. Kurt Hawkins was Mr. Relevant.
Yeah, and apparently Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross were traded to SmackDown
for 4 future draft picks, even though the draft is
even
over.
though the draft is over. All right.
Any cash incentives? Any signing bonuses?
SmackDown Raw.
What's going on?
SmackDown Live gets Roman Reigns, who was already on SmackDown, Bray Wyatt, who shouldn't have been in the draft because he's supposed to live on some weird plane that is beyond anyone's control. But whatever. Man. Sasha Banks goes to SmackDown. Braun Strowman, Lacey Evans, The Revival, Lucha House Party, Heavy Machinery, Apollo Crews, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel, the B Team. Drew Gulak, Heath Slater, Tamina, Brock Lesnar, Shinsuke Nakamura, Ali, Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode, Carmella, so she's no longer with R-Truth, The Miz, King Corbin, Shorty Gable, which
they
is now
call him Shorty
the
Gable.
official name of Chad Gable, because you know what?
Shut up.
You know what Stone Cold Steve Austin? I believe it's Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? Was saying, if you can tell if someone's going to be successful if you can say, and your new WWE champion is
Shorty Gable.
Shorty Gable ain't ever going to make that happen.
The writing is on the wall.
Good. Shorty. Hey, Shorty.
Elias, who hasn't been seen in fucking weeks.
They mentioned that when they picked him.
Yeah.
Apparently he's in some shit because Stephanie did not get... We used to walk with this guy.
Yeah.
It was really a shitty introduction.
New Day.
He's on the road, guys. He's getting
That makes sense.
He's playing the Troubadour this weekend?
Daniel Bryan, Bayley, who made her final transition into fucking heeldom this past week.
Cut her hair.
She cut her hair?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big one.
Cut her hair. She took some weird axe
That's
to
what
the
I
Bailey
do.
buddies.
The weirdest one,
serious?
Yeah.
the reveal of the haircut was exactly what you would expect. She comes
Yeah.
out with a hoodie,
Yeah.
all emo, and then she reveals it, but nobody can tell because it's just this weird.
Oh, man.
Showing off the
That's
butt
what it-
now, too.
that's-
I like
That's
that.
what
You know
it
what's
looks
cool
like
is
when
that
it-
she came out and like
that's what it
snipped her
That's what it
ponytail.
looks like when a car dealership shuts down.
Yeah. Exactly. But, Cesaro.
The best part was the tool that she used to cut them was clearly a tool they had to invent because
Yep.
no one has
Yep.
ever seen anything
It's
like
what
that.
is that? Where's the mallet from
The
the
weed whacker?
fucking
I bet-
Firefly Funhouse?
I bet Vince McMahon was like, "Well, goddamn, we need to get her a sickle. Can we find a sickle?"
Right.
And everyone's like, "God, well, what the fuck is a sickle?" And he's
They
like,
have them in Pennsylvania.
You
Get
know
over
it,
there,
damn it.
the thing that the Grim Reaper carries around. You mean the Undertaker? No, god damn it, the Grim Reaper. A sickle. Fuck.
Cesaro,
What's a burrito?
Luke Harper, who now I guess is no longer with Eric Rowan since Rowan is on Raw. There's the end of that storyline, which I was hoping was still going to go in the way of Daniel Bryan mastermind this whole thing. Guess not.
I didn't want to harp on that.
Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Drake Maverick, who is the commissioner of 205 Live, so I guess that's officially done, and Dana Brooke. So, gotta tell you, I feel like Raw kicked the shit out of SmackDown as far as these picks are concerned.
Where did Nakamura go?
Nakamura's on SmackDown.
Oh, okay.
With Sami Zayn. Don't
With
worry.
Sami
I know you
Zayn,
were
yeah,
concerned.
of course.
Okay, no, it was.
I mean, look at it. Look at the
You
front
know-
load here. It's like, it's all like people who can wrestle, which I guess makes sense if Paul Heyman had input here. It's like, it's Becky, It's the OC. It's McIntyre. It's Buddy Murphy. It's Lashley. It's
Buddy Murphy.
You know what I'm saying? Kevin Owens. It's fucking.
Buddy, that's pretty high for Buddy Murphy.
But Buddy Murphy's been fucking
just gonna
killing
say.
it in every match he's had over the past 2 years. What do you want?
Is he going to be a Hall of Famer?
Don't worry, he was in like the fourth round of the second round.
Yeah, it wasn't
of
like
the
he got
draft.
picked soon. I'm just calling out
Oh,
names.
this
It wasn't
isn't
Friday.
the order.
That's not the order, no.
Oh,
It
You're
wasn't
saying-
Friday night. It was Monday night, which was weird already. Because like Rollins and Lesnar couldn't get picked on Friday night. They had to
Yeah.
wait till Monday. So they're trying to say like Seth Rollins is the #1 overall pick,
So
but really they had to
convoluted.
wait
Yeah.
for a second night.
But
so
it's,
he wasn't.
It's hilarious. It's like all the workers are on Raw, and then it's like Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, fucking,
the Vince McMahon wrestlers.
Right, exactly, all on SmackDown. It's
Yeah.
pretty hilarious.
That's funny.
I honestly I don't think this list sticks. I don't. I've never really been a brand extension to show person. I've always been more interested when the shows are allowed to bleed into each other because, as we've seen recently, it allows them to pace the story out over 2 shows and intermingle them.
When
Because
done- Go ahead.
there were times when you would have something on a Monday and then you'd address it on a Friday, and then it wouldn't be on the next show, but it'd be on the show after that. And I felt like that kind of spacing worked a lot better than this.
But I mean, they kind of have to do it this way now. It's like it's literally 2 different networks, 2 different parent companies. They gotta, they have too much, and then they just have too much talent, man. It's like what would happen is you'd get Roman on both shows, occasionally Daniel Bryan on both shows, Rollins on both shows, The New Day on both shows. And then it's like all these guys that we complain about that we never see. Where are they going to get any TV time?
Look, I hear that argument, and I understand it, but I think that by splitting them, you actually do the entire show a disservice. Because first and foremost, it's still one company. It really isn't 2. And by creating 2 different things, you're watering down your own product. And ultimately, when it comes to spacing people out, the same way as we've seen, and this is something we haven't acknowledged, we've recently seen WWE has been giving 8 weeks off to guys here and there. Finn Balor got time off. Drew McIntyre's got some time. And I think that's helping everyone. But if you were to say to me, how do you space these out? I would say that somebody like a Roman Reigns would appear on 3 out of every 5 shows. Meaning if you looked at 5 episodes consecutively of Raw and SmackDown and counted them straight through, you put them on Monday, you put them on Friday, you miss the following Monday, you put them on Friday, you miss them. You know what I mean? Every 3 out of every 5 shows they appear, and you give them 2 of those shows off.
You, in
and
your
cycle.
heart of hearts, thinks the WWE creative team can keep track of that?
I
mean, just wait a minute.
But they did it recently. But I mean, like the way that Seth Rollins didn't technically appear on Monday Night Raw the night after Hell in a Cell. There's a way.
Well, that was
to
a
take-
reason for that.
Right, but what I'm saying is that in a perfect world, we're just talking about the fact that I don't like having 2 separate shows with 2 separate
No, I
rosters.
hear
and if you
you.
put them all together,
But look,
that's how you sort through them and
But
still
look.
get other guys on the show.
Drew McIntyre.
He's
Yeah.
a bust. He's the Sam Bowie of this draft.
But when's the last time you saw the guy on TV?
But he was taking time off.
Elias. When's the last time you seen the guy on TV?
But that's time off as well.
Rusev was gone forever, just sitting at home. He didn't take time off. He was just
Right, but
sitting
those
at
are-
home.
Go ahead, Matt.
Luke Harper, just off
Do you
TV.
know where Jeff Hardy got drafted?
The Hardy Boys didn't get drafted.
Oh no, he's on lockdown.
Yeah. But I'm just saying,
I think that
there's
I agree,
a
but those
myriad of people.
But those people weren't pulled from television based on not having enough room for them. They were each taking time off for specific reasons.
well, not necessarily true. Like,
What we're talking about, though, what I feel like we're talking about when we discuss the idea that people get buried are people like a Buddy Murphy, where if you have your Seth Rollins and your
Sure.
Roman Reigns on the show, there's not room for those guys, but we've proven that there has. And if you were to be more mindful that's all I'm saying is, in a perfect world, if you're allowed to appear on both shows, you aren't there every single week. You're taking some off, and you're filtering those other guys in,
right, but that's
in
what
the
I'm saying.
right spots.
But with 5 hours of television, and
I mean,
you
they're
ain't
not
gotta-
doing a better job by having split these brands. Look, the brand extension hasn't really been effective since the very first time they did it. There have been 2 periods where it's really worked well, and
Yeah.
that was about 6 months each. So,
But
the
that's
track
why.
record of a
But
brand
that's why they
split-
keep going back to it, because at the end of the day, they can't argue with the fact that they have too much talent spread over 3.
And my argument to them is that it's never actually been an effective way of sorting out the 2 shows. It's
But-
never really worked long term.
Well, because what you had was one creative team basically running both shows. You know what I mean?
No,
and
but
then,
wasn't there a time when Heyman was running SmackDown and it was beating Raw in the ratings?
and that's when it worked because it was a self-contained show.
No.
It didn't bleed over into Raw. It had the SmackDown 6. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was its own thing. It never crossed over with Raw. The problem with the brand splits have been like it's always half-hearted. It's like, yeah, we're two separate brands, but then they always find a way to get them fucking with each other again. Oh, well, let's just do pay-per-views where everybody's on it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? If you take it seriously and say, no, SmackDown is its own thing, Raw is its own thing, like NXT is its own thing.
I don't think within one company really splitting your... It's because it's not like they're creating two separate products.
Well, it works in real sports. There's an American League and there's a fucking National League. There's a Western Conference and Eastern
Nationals.
Conference. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but
it works.
But they do bleed over. But they still
occasionally, you know what I mean? But not every single week. It doesn't work when it's every single thing. You still think of the National League as its own thing as opposed to the AL.
I do, as a lifelong NBA fan, I don't think of the Eastern Conference and Western Conference as different until
Well,
the playoffs.
basketball is different. I mean, they play everybody all
Yeah.
the time. But you know what I'm saying? It's definitely two different things in baseball.
But
you know what I'm saying?
as a casual baseball fan,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you which one is in which, and it doesn't really matter to
you
me.
just
Like I think of
disqualified yourself by saying
I think,
a casual
but I
baseball
think of
fan.
Well, they have
I think of the
interleague
MLB
play.
as the MLB. Like it's baseball. Like they're still not creating two separate products, which is why it can work. They're not selling it
That's
as
true.
they're not selling it as either you're watching this or this. They're selling it as you watch baseball. Who's your team? That's different because you're still selling the same product. Here, they're selling us two different shows as if they're different, but they're watering down their own product and ultimately not selling us two different things.
And it's almost like, as opposed to other sports, this is like an all-star game every show. Where
Right.
you have your top guys facing each other every single week.
And what has it done to the creative? It's tanked it.
Yeah, but that's
Completely
not. Look,
tanked
the creative being good or bad has nothing to do with the show being split or not.
Well,
Because
sure
on the
it
other
does,
side, every
because-
time it's split, it isn't any better.
Eddie,
I think you're arguing
sure
two
it
different
does.
things.
No, yeah, sure it does. The creative gets worse because now you have to figure out, okay, I can't have this storyline just take place once a week. Now it has to take place over both shows. Now there's more time in between pay-per-views that you have to fill with the same fucking story.
I agree with what you're saying.
You're talking
but I
about-
don't
you're talking
think
about-
it's-
you're talking
I
about
think
a-
we're right. We're having two different
No,
arguments here. 'Cause
no.
that's
I'm
not
talking about it's all inclusive. I think that you can't get as many wrestlers on the programs if you have to have the top guys over two shows. I think that the creative gets watered down because you have to figure out how to fill a storyline over the course of more episodes as opposed to less. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
No, poor creative
and the
is poor
superstars
creative. No,
and the
but
superstars are
what you're
less
saying-
special because they appear more.
I think what you're doing though here is you're attributing bad creative to the fact that they're not split. I think that the creative has not been as strong for a little while, and it's seen in what you're saying as well. However, I think there's a really strong way with a good creative team
Eddie,
to have both shows.
Of course, but it's like with
Look how many fucking wrestlers are on your list.
yeah.
That's too many fucking wrestlers.
That's
too
my
many
whole
wrestlers
point.
for
Right,
too
but
much
splitting
TV.
the shows doesn't make the creative better. It's not really going to help them ultimately, and we've seen
Eddie,
it not help them.
We need to kill half these wrestlers.
Have you not noticed
that
that?
idea.
Have you not? I mean, there's a reason.
Can it be us? Can that be our comic book? We go out and assassinate
That
wrestlers
would be
because they're like,
awesome.
you haven't got enough TV time this week, EC3.
Right.
It's like, no, leave Corbin alone.
This one's on you.
But that's what it is. It's like, dude, literally.
Who would you get rid
Right,
of?
but here's my point though, Chris. is what
you're not addressing any of the points I'm making.
I am. I'm about to
right,
right now.
please.
You're saying that by splitting the brands,
Yes. It helps everything.
Except
all
that
you're
the
saying is
creative
that
team
if
itself
it's
is-
better, then it's all going to be better.
I give in.
No,
I haven't even gotten a point out yet.
Please.
You got me.
Please.
You've already. What I'm saying is the creative is weak right now. Period. So splitting the shows isn't inherently going to make the creative better. It's just going to be the same exact thing anyway. So I would rather see all the stars on both shows at the moment, especially. Because just by splitting these doesn't guarantee a guy like Buddy Murphy just magically the creative is going to get better.
We go
No,
back to Buddy Murphy.
because he's a guy who I think has potential and has shown he's got potential, but
Was a number 5 pick.
is somewhere in that mixed field where he's not getting enough TV time. But just because he's going to get more doesn't mean the creative for him is going to do better. instance being Shorty Gable, who all of a sudden got more time, but they gave him shit to work with, and there's nothing to do.
Eddie.
And now he's Shorty
But
Gable.
that was when he was being split over 2 shows. You yourself have defended
That's a good one.
have defended WWE multiple times, saying like, well, they have so many shows to write. They got so many things they got to do. It's tough putting that many hours of TV. Okay, well, when your creative team has to focus on 2 shows instead of 1, that's what happens, Eddie.
What's your point? I don't understand. I don't understand what your point is there.
You said that they have too many hours of TV
and
to film.
they have too many
Now,
hours and too many
the
wrestlers.
2 creative teams for
right,
Raw
but
and
just by
SmackDown?
splitting them doesn't. We're sitting
Eddie,
here.
you're arguing
hold
against
on a second.
yourself.
Listen, we're
There
complaining
now.
about
Yourself.
creative, right?
Yeah.
We're complaining about creative.
Yes.
I still don't have any faith that creative's going to get better by splitting the brands. That's what I'm saying.
But at least
it's not. I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm not saying I have an answer. All I'm saying is that by splitting the brands, you don't intrigue me anymore because it's never really worked,
Eddie,
and it's not making it better.
I'm not even injecting my own opinion right now. I'm going
Injecting
off
the venom.
So
what
what would
you
I have
said.
to say? What would I
Yeah,
have
what
to
you
say?
said.
What do I need to say to get out of this conversation?
Well, no, I'm just again.
What do I need
I'm
to say? I'm not. There's
I don't
no
know.
argument. What my statement is.
What is-
as a person, I've never liked the brand split.
But I'm saying you're arguing against.
I'm not
it.
arguing. I'm saying I
You
don't
said you
like the
don't
brand
like
split.
it,
Yeah,
right.
that's not an argument. It's just me stating I've never really liked the brand split. So this doesn't intrigue me more.
But I'm showing you by what you said how the brand
Johnny's
split
not
makes
going
sense.
to help you. Stop looking at Johnny.
I'm not-
Look
I'm
at me.
not
Look at me.
necessarily looking at
Look at
Johnny.
me.
I
There
am
we
looking
go.
at
There we go.
Again,
So goddamn
You
handsome.
said it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what to tell
What
you
have I
other than the
said?
fact.
But what I'm saying is I don't like the brand split.
Yeah,
what
but-
I've said before isn't applying to this as well.
But it is.
I'm trying to
proven-
get what it is that you're saying.
yeah, I don't understand what your
What
ultimate
don't you?
point
What
is.
don't you understand?
No.
There's-
It's not what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Please tell me what it is that you're saying.
What I'm saying is when you have 2 shows that do not intermingle and you do not have to spread storylines over 2 shows, the creative teams don't have to talk to each other and figure out how to make it all work like some kind of puzzle across 2 shows. They can focus on their own brand, and that makes for stronger storytelling because you don't have to consult with other people. You don't have more hours to fill with the same wrestlers.
I understand that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's like, and you can create 2 different styles. You can create, like they already did it with the sets, and we saw it work in 2003 when Paul Heyman had full range on SmackDown. We saw it work.
Okay.
And my argument is saying the reason it doesn't work is because it's always half-hearted. It's not a real brand split ever.
And I think what Eddie is saying is that if the creative is shit to begin with,
Right.
then none of that matters.
But what I'm saying, that's like saying, that's not saying anything. That's saying...
No, that's what it is.
No, but...
If
that-
the creative
Look,
is
because
not...
I agree with the
No,
theory
to
that if
say-
you were to be able to separate them and produce
Right.
less per team,
But
I
there
get
was
that
2
idea.
different creative teams for
But that's like
2 different
that,
shows.
That argument is saying, well, if this
Also, the
restaurant
argument-
tastes better, I'd go there more.
But
no
that
shit.
But
that's
the
not,
argument,
that's
but
not
the
a
argument
solution.
ultimately was not an argument; it was a preference. Like my opinion of just not liking the brand split has nothing to do with whether writing
but
2
you-
separate television shows might yield a better product.
But what
it's
are we
still not.
What are we
Guys,
talking?
guys,
yeah.
this debate needs to follow the same format that that they did with Luke Harper and Brian and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Just to wrap it up.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. I feel you.
I
I'm
don't
just
know what
saying
to
you
do to
made
get out of
points
it.
as to why you don't like the brand split. I'm telling you why it works, and I guess, but
yeah,
you're
that's
like,
2
but I'm not
different-
arguing. Okay,
But it's not.
cool.
It's 2 different
I literally
conversations.
just forgot we were podcasting.
Yeah, it's fine. But yeah, so I mean, you always find a way to defend WWE.
That's not a defense.
Sure it is.
What I said was I've never liked the brand split. That's,
All right,
that's
so-
literally just an
so tell
opinion. That's like
me-
saying I don't like sandwiches. You can't be like, well,
Wait,
bread
you
and
don't like
meat are-
fucking sandwiches?
There you go.
What
There
the
we go.
fuck is
There you
going
go.
on here?
Here we go.
So tell me why the Seth Rollins thing with Bray Wyatt was great at the end of Raw.
Oh my goodness. There's nothing about that got me more excited about that. Look, sure as hell, I'm curious to see what the hell they're going to do in Saudi Arabia because they wrote themselves into a corner, and instead of getting themselves out, we're like, let's make the corner a little smaller. And so what the fuck are they going to do now? I think that I did not like that segment. I mean, this is not, you're coming at me asking if I can defend it, but no, I've told you since Hell in a Cell that this was something I thought they could have capitalized on in a big way and really intrigued a lot of people, and they have found a way to go one of our listeners reached out to me and pointed out that we missed the most obvious thing, which was that if they flipped Hell in a Cell and they had Bray Wyatt decimate Seth Rollins to the point where the ref had to stop the match, that would have made so much more sense in just a small tweak. And that's why we were so upset with it, because even a minor thing where you're just like, just flip the two, let him beat him to within an inch of his life, so they have to stop the match, and it's better. And this segment with the idea that Seth showed up, I mean, unless they come out with some explanation that that's still in Bray Wyatt's head or it's some other thing, the idea that Seth showed up to an actual set, like the Firefly Funhouse was an actual set you could leave Raw and go find in the building, I think was a level of hurting that character I didn't even think they could get to, where it just made me that much less interested. I was like, you literally, and you made him burn it down with his catchphrase
Burn
too?
it down.
Like,
Burn it
just,
down.
It didn't. It was. I'm only interested because they've done such a poor job that now Seth Rollins is in 2 different matches on the same night in this weird event that shouldn't even be taking place, and he's got to wrestle the Fiend again. And I don't know how they're going to get out of that, because now they're on separate shows. Like, what have they done? They painted the floor underneath them in that corner that they were painted into.
I don't know. I think Vince sleep talks during meetings and just says things, and then because everyone around him is a yes man, they're like, "Oh, we got to write that down."
Yeah. Well,
and Vince wakes up and is like, "What'd I say?"
I mean, it's...
Oh, goddamn, weren't you listening? Sure was better than anything you had.
Pal.
I mean, it's like, the Fiend was so fun. It was, Bray Wyatt was so fun. The Firefly's Funhouse was so fun. And it's like, we dropped the ball so unbelievably hard at Hell in a Cell. So our solution is something that would have been made, like, that would have been a major thing happening in a major storyline. Someone actually showing up to the Firefly Funhouse. You know, like, they just, well, let's just do that now.
What if it was the House of Horrors and Randy Orton was still under the refrigerator?
Yeah. And
You know what it reminds me of?
Yeah.
You ever see that the Buster Keaton bit where he drops his hat and he goes to pick it up and he kicks the hat?
Yeah.
It feels like they're doing that, but not intentionally. Like, they go to pick up the hat and all of a sudden it's 3 feet in front of them. How did it get over there?
And why is the solution is like Bray Wyatt's secret, like, weakness fire? Because everyone just burns down where he lives. That's just like how they deal with Bray Wyatt. Like, Randy Orton did it. Seth Rollins did it.
Careful bringing pyro around Eddie.
Yeah, it's just like, it's no wonder. I don't
Told
know.
you it didn't impress me.
The whole thing, man. It's just unbelievable. They are booing Seth out of the building now. He's supposed to be the baby face. Bray.
They're gonna, next time he comes out, they're, instead of burn it down, they're gonna say boo it down.
Boo it down.
I mean, Matt, can talk to me, man. Did you watch? Do you even know what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. No, I mean, God, guys, I tell you what, man, I'm just so over WWE.
Yeah.
It's hard, and it's like it's at the point where when things are disappointing, I'm like too numb to even be disappointed anymore. Like I knew they dropped the ball on the Fiend. You know, it was too cool.
I had some faith. I had faith.
And I like the tag team.
I gave him my optimism. I was like, oh, they're letting Bray do his thing. They're letting, him do what he wants, and it's paying dividends. All they got to do is ride the wave and not fucking interfere, and not overproduce it, and not blah, 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 and not totally not learn from their mistakes, and just...
to be fair, there is still a chance to recover from it. It's not going to be easy. It's not simple, but there have been characters that have been put in tough spots earlier in their run and still come back later to shine. This one, I'm not saying that that's where I guarantee it would go after this, because it's certainly... Look, this one kind of stings. This one one hurts a bit, because we were very excited. I keep going back to sitting here with you guys watching SummerSlam and noticing the sheer silence as he came out, that we were all... Like, we knew something different and special was happening.
You know what it reminds me of? Like Bray Wyatt. Like, I was huge on Bray Wyatt, and then he had that stupid horror match, and then they had the ring
Yeah.
that turned into worms
Bugs.
and bugs and shit. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
They consistently
Like
do
that was
this
so
with him.
good, but all the build up to that was great.
Yeah.
And then once they got them in the ring, like it turned to shit.
Yeah.
A red ring with bullshit, and like
And the red ring, I think, could have worked.
It could have worked.
It could have worked. It
couldn't
worked
even
for
see-
Kane. It worked for Kane once.
in
But
that
you
match
couldn't
that
even
you were saying.
you couldn't even see the match.
But if it was like a squash match, like how Eddie was saying that guy said,
Yeah.
that would have been awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
I said it before the pay-per-view. I'm like, the only way out is if Bray isn't interested in the belt. Like, he just wants to hurt Seth. I said that on the podcast.
Yeah.
And it's like,
The Fiend like shiny things.
I still think you need. For me, it was always
because why would
there's interest in the belt. I think to help, because one of the things that we end up losing with this company is that it's not grounded in what it's supposed to be, which is wrestling. So if you don't show any interest in the
Right.
belt in the middle of a title match, I think you lose some of it. Although losing complete control of yourself and decimating a human to the point where you can't win it is still. I think you could still do both. You could. You
Well,
could
the
stay
story
focused.
they're trying to tell is what was the story they should have told properly with Bray Wyatt and John Cena, which is that Bray is such a fucking nuisance, like a dark nuisance, that Cena has to lose himself in order to beat him, but he doesn't want to lose himself. He doesn't want to embrace his dark nature. And Seth has embraced it, but nobody cares because Seth isn't cool. You know what I
No,
mean?
you're absolutely right, and this goes back to what I'm saying. Like, there's nobody like Cena, and pushing someone
But
like
Cena-
Reigns
Yeah, but-
or
But Cena didn't have to
Rollins.
say never give up, never surrender in every promo. Seth
they're
has to say
certainly-
burn
they're-
it down every promo.
They're certainly not giving these superstars the same leeway and freedom to become those
Absolutely.
things.
Absolutely.
And that's why I will I still say, like, I will watch a Charlotte Flair promo or segment
great.
and always be in it. I think she's the closest that they're allowing someone to get to that place because she's earned some trust and some
I
ability.
mean, sort of. She's starting to suffer from Big Show syndrome where she flip-flops from fucking babyface to heel every 3 weeks. Yeah, it's like that dude, you never know what fucking side he's on. It's just like, wait a minute, he turned again? Like, I don't even remember. Like, she was face during this Bayley feud, then she she sucker punches Becky on Monday. It's like,
I still think she can.
They just
she can
don't know.
almost do no wrong. I think if she's given the chance, she's the breakout star.
I
think
should show
she's
you
the one.
my
who-
DMs about people asking me, what's Eddie's deal with Charlotte?
I think she's the best in the world. I think she's
Oh,
the best
man.
in the world, hands down. There's no
Statuesque.
question. You don't have to ask anymore. She is, to me, the best wrestler alive today, bar none. I think she's in a class that is going to be all-time great. I think you're seeing something that is transcendent of gender or sex, however we want to postulate that. It's beyond that. I think if it's done right and if you give the opportunity, this is the next transcendent star, a la Stone Cold, The Rock, and John Cena and Hulk Hogan and the next level. But again, that means she has to have the opportunities to talk on the mic. She has to have the opportunities to have those matches and the feuds and the other performers with her, because each one of those performers was elevated by somebody else. You don't get Hogan without Andre the Giant and Macho Man. You don't get, John Cena without Edge and Kurt Angle and all the guys that helped with him and CM Punk. You don't get Stone Cold and The Rock without each other and without Triple H and Mick Foley bolstering them. So it's all of those things. And right now, the company isn't giving the superstars the room to grow the way that they need for that kind of
It's
transcendent
because
star.
it feels more like a fucking company and a corporate structure than it's ever felt before.
You're
It
making
doesn't
the
feel like a
argument-
wrestling promotion. It
Yeah.
feels like a TV
Yeah.
show produced about a TV show.
You're making the argument that Charlotte hasn't had opportunities. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Where has Charlotte been limited ever?
I think
She's
that
pushed to the moon always, dude. You don't think so?
is that. So what did you take away from what I said?
You said that Charlotte could be this transcendent sort of superstar, right?
Yeah.
If only she was given the opportunity to do so, to have the freedom to kind of do,
Freedom in the vein
and
of
to have
she
great
needs-
feuds and microphone time. Who's more pushed and showcased than Charlotte?
No, see, I think what you're trying to say is like Cena would go to Vince and be like, "Hey, Vince, I'm fucking doing this." There's no way Charlotte's going to go to Vince and do that.
Why does she have any reason to? She's pushed to the moon
But
always.
what I'm saying is, like, I think getting in Vince's face about something like that is something that would then allow him to make it seem like it's all his idea.
When I talk about opportunities for Charlotte, clearly she's been given opportunities. What I mean is, for instance, you just talked about how she flip-flops a little too often. We're not sure what that is. Recently, she won the SmackDown title and lost it immediately. What I'm saying is, for her to become transcendent, she also needs the opportunity to grow on the microphone and in the ring in the way that John Cena, CM Punk, The Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, everyone was given the opportunities. Not just saying, quote unquote, strap the rocket and push to the moon, but if she's not, if no one else in the company is built in the same way, then she's not going to have a strong enough opponent to look as good. So if we're not allowing everyone to go out on the mic and speak in that way, then we're going to find it really hard to have those meaningful matches, the meaningful feuds. If everything is this hot shot at angle, like that's what I mean. Is if she's given. And the rest of the roster, because that's what we all want to see. We want to see Kevin Owens given the mic time. We want to see Buddy Murphy, given the IC strap and the ability to go and make it important. We want to see all those things. So for Charlotte, I just mean that she needs other opponents who are going to make her that good. She needs other people who are going to help elevate her game as well. And right now, it's not necessarily a structure that's in favor of everyone getting that opportunity.
It's like what you guys were talking about with Becky Lynch. Yeah. Like she took the ball and ran with it. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Charlotte has been given that opportunity.
How? She's a 10-time
No.
10.
You're misunderstanding what I'm saying. What I'm saying is...
I definitely am.
What I'm saying is...
I did not get you guys at all this episode. I'm just going to let it be out there.
What I'm saying is I think she's too controlled because she's such a commodity that they do all those things. They're like, oh, it's Ric Flair's daughter. We're going to give her this and give her that and give her this and give her that. Instead of letting her come into her own, they're pushing all this stuff on her. And so that, I think, is contrived when it comes to her. Whereas with Becky, she comes from nothing. She's some Irish, girl who just one day decided, fuck this, I'm going to start doing this shit. Yeah. And she did, and then everyone got on board with it. Because Charlotte is, like I said, such a commodity and so controlled, then I think it's they treated with kid gloves kind of deal.
I don't know, man. I don't know. If I'm looking at Matt, what do you think?
I mean, dude, like it's like what you say, Chris. They've given her everything. What do you? I'm trying to figure out what you guys are arguing about. I'm about to turn on tights and fights.
To me, this is a weird episode in which we're having an argument that's not really an argument. It's more the discussion. And my point for Charlotte is I think she's a transcendent talent. And the company's structure at the moment isn't really designed for transcendent stars. That's what we're saying. That's what we see with, like, Seth Rollins clearly isn't given the opportunity to just be himself and find his character and learn how to work the crowd live and use the mic and then go into the program and the match the right way. And Charlotte has certainly been given way more opportunities than a lot of other stars. And I think that she has the opportunity to be that transcendent star. But in that same vein, if no one else around her that she works with is allowed to grow in the way that we know all of these wrestlers need to grow, then that would hinder some of her growth towards that transcendent star. What we're saying is that there's an issue with the creative process in general at WWE, and somebody who's that good may suffer from it based not even on what they're given or not given, but that Sasha is not getting better on the mic at the moment because they keep giving her these overly scripted promos. So when Sasha and Charlotte go face-to-face in a ring, half of it's going to be contrived, and maybe they'll squeak out a quarter of something that feels as genuine as the feuds that we want.
Yeah. All right.
He's taking the draft out on us. That's what it is.
No,
I'm so angry that there's nothing we could say unless we were.
I'm just like.
I just don't get how you're telling me Seth Rollins, the Universal Champion, isn't getting opportunity.
That's what I'm saying about Charlotte. Charlotte's a 10-time women's champion.
I think that Seth Rollins isn't allowed to just go out and be himself. If you look at his booking over the last 12 weeks alone, they give him something new and different each week. He's not allowed to find the character. It's overly scripted. He says burn it down every week versus just going out and talking.
Seth, I think you definitely have an argument there. Like, yeah, he is stilted at every step of the way. He's given dumb material to work with. His character is forced to make insane decisions that are not going to move the crowd one way or another, other than to give him the wrong kind of heat, which is what's being created with this whole Fiend thing. But I can't give you that with Charlotte Flair. I just think.
But you're missing my point then.
Yeah.
My point isn't Charlotte's not being given opportunity. It's that if no one around her,
Right.
like Seth Rollins,
But
is not given it, then the people that she's going to work with aren't going to be as good to help elevate
I
what
hear
she's
you.
doing.
I hear you. That's what I'm always arguing against Tony, because Tony's always like, well, Charlotte's the best. These people shouldn't even be in her league. And it's like, well, she needs opponents.
Wouldn't you rather watch a show where the main focal point of the fucking show was whatever the hell was going on with Charlotte Flair, as opposed to Seth Rollins?
Yeah, but it's like, Charlotte has her greatest feud was with Sasha when they were trading the belt back and forth. Nobody at the time was saying, well, Sasha's not being elevated to the level of Charlotte. Of course she was. She was just as mage as Charlotte was, and it was great. She's feuded with Becky Lynch, who's been the biggest thing in the company over the past year. She's feuded with Bayley, who was the fucking SmackDown Women's Champion. This is on. I don't see specifically with her where she's not being put in a position to shine against good opponents and with a lot to work with.
And all Johnny and I are saying is that
She
might be the
Then how are you
star.
having an argument about this?
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Is that this all started
you
when I was
just
like,
agreed with us.
she's
No, I
the
didn't,
one
Johnny.
doing
You guys
the
don't
best work.
You guys don't understand what I'm saying?
We're saying Charlotte
we're not
is
having the same
great.
argument. Yeah, we're saying
Charlotte's great.
That's also
no. You're saying Charlotte's great. We're saying she could be so much better.
I agree too, but I'm asking what needs to be different with her specifically. That's
Not
what
her,
I'm asking.
the people like the creative of WWE
and I
in
just
general.
give you 3 examples of people that. Okay, all right, never mind. I don't know, guys. I try to give examples of what I'm talking about, but whatever. What else is going on? Let's talk about.
Let's talk about the draft.
We should have had a drink tonight.
I guess. What I'm baffled at is like I'm giving you history, and I'm
Right, but what we're saying is that there's nothing wrong with what's happening, and she's certainly been given a lot of opportunities, and she is great. And if we wanted to see her get to a Stone Cold-like level, then for me, the structure of how the WWE works right now isn't in place to allow a human being to transcend, because part of it is other people aren't doing their best work either.
Yeah, Eddie. I'm just like, I don't know what else needs to happen with Charlotte.
If Charlotte
But it's
Flair
not Charlotte. It's
was a dude, she'd be the #1 wrestler in the fucking world, bar none.
You think so? You may
No.
think so. And that's what I'm saying. I'm
telling
not
you.
saying Charlotte needs to change, dude. I'm saying what else around her needs to happen. Like I said, she's had feuds with all the top women. She's
I have
done the
a
thing.
question
Like,
for you.
she's
Do
done
you
the
think
thing.
WWE creative in the show is at its best right now?
No, I don't.
So then that's what I would change first, is the creative around her being not her stuff specifically, but we know that the show's not good, so we're not getting as many people to tune in. So
Eddie.
hold on, let me finish. Please, God, let me finish. The contrived promos from everyone on television allow people to tune out and doesn't create better workers in general. So the entire product is suffering. If rising tides lift all boats, then waning seas bring everybody down. And as good as Charlotte can be, for her to transcend, the product around her would also need to be good so that more eyes were on
So
it.
your argument is WWE as a whole needs to be better for her to transcend.
I mean, yeah. I think
that would help.
everybody being better would help everybody be better. Like
Yeah.
what we were saying is Stone Cold wouldn't have done his best work if he didn't also have good people to work with, and that was a structure that helped people work.
And that's where I keep having the struggle. You're arguing against yourself when you say WWE as a whole is not great. So Charlotte should be a better star if the people she had to work with were better. I
Not
tell
should.
you,
This was just a conversation. This is not an argument. That's where I think we're getting lost.
But all right,
What if Charlotte skipped town to AEW?
yeah, I
How
think
huge would that be for AEW?
I think
and
would
how
be a big
of a
deal,
hit would that
but
be for WWE?
but that. All right, guys. I don't know. We're just on the wrong foot on this episode. I don't know what. I really don't know what to say.
this
It's
is
like
not an argument about what Charlotte needed to get better. Charlotte's
I'm not
doing
making
great.
that
Yeah.
argument,
I'm
dog. You said
pre-diabetic and I can't even feel my
yeah.
feet. So.
You're saying This is what's happening. You're making statements. I'm saying why I don't think it's true, and then you go, well, it's not an argument. I was just making a statement. I mean, we're all just making statements. This is what we do here on the podcast. We make statements about things. We have difference of opinions, and we talk it out. I'm giving you my talk out, and then you're just saying, oh, we're not arguing. And that's what's frustrating
Because it doesn't
about this
sound like
episode.
we're on because it sounds like
We are.
It
You're
sounds like you're
saying-
arguing a
you
point
said
that I'm not
Charlotte
arguing.
is a transcendent fucking star. She needs other people around her to help her elevate. I just told you she's feuded with the best people in the business who are also good. And then you're like, well,
Right,
the
but-
product as a whole needs to be better.
Right, what I'm
What
saying
is
is
that?
for
That's
Sasha,
not an argument.
for Sasha
That's not
Banks
saying
to be
anything.
better, she needs to be unscripted. She needs to learn how to cut a better promo.
I totally agree with you, but
Right, so that's what I'm saying. Hold on, that's my argument. It's not further than that. The argument I'm making is that Sasha and the other people around her, including Charlotte at times, because I don't know how much her promos are scripted or not, is that for promos in general to be better, they need to be less scripted. So if we wanted the product in general to be better, they needed to be less scripted so those people learn how to work to make the feuds matter more.
I don't know. We failed.
In the ring, is there anybody better than Charlotte?
As far as all wrestlers or women wrestlers in general?
Female wrestlers.
I would say Asuka's better than her. I would say Kairi Sane's better than her. I would say that on certain nights, Sasha's definitely better than her.
Okay, I disagree,
Yeah,
and that's fine.
totally. I don't know, man. WWE sucks. They've lost 1.1 million viewers from week to week on SmackDown Live when the whole idea was in front of a bigger audience that they were gonna, they were gonna elevate. Now they're starting to settle right back around those ratings that they had on USA, which hurts their situation on Fox because they need to maintain an over 3 million situation. AEW, meanwhile,
That Cricket wireless money.
yeah. Meanwhile, AEW is holding strong at over 1 million, which is double the projections that TNT had for them starting out. And Vince, I mean, it just is what it is. They fired Eric Bischoff from executive director of SmackDown. When the story is that he barely had any contribution anyway backstage. They've put Bruce Pritchard in that role, who, again, according to all insiders, have said that he was already in that role. It just Bischoff was just the face of it and kind of a scapegoat. And I don't know. None of these things are a good sign of a company that's thriving. But we shall see, I guess, gentlemen. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if people can elevate so that Charlotte can be better. We'll see that if, this brand split won't make things more focused and will not solve any of these internal logic problems. We'll see it all. You know what I mean?
That's it.
I guess, Matt, you got anything?
Dynamite was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, they're putting on the AEW situation is that they're not. I think the whole thing with the first episode of SmackDown on Fox was WWE was flexing their advantages, right? We can sign Cain Velasquez. We can pull Tyson Fury in here. We can do, you know what I mean? They can do stuff like that. AEW is like, yeah, but we're just a good show. You know what I mean? But we're inexperienced. There's a bunch of green beans on that show. And they still have little problems with, like, commentary and...
Does the guy in the mask do commentary?
Yeah, that's...
What's his name?
That's Excalibur.
Excalibur.
Yeah.
That guy's awesome.
So we'll see as these, wars that aren't wars continue.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I want to see the Saudi Arabia show.
I think you can tell from my demeanor this whole episode that I'm not excited.
No, well, you're right.
I'm fine. I'm just baffled by the both of you. I'll be honest. Baffled.
Dude, I'm a Baron Corbin fan.
Who has been doing great.
What are you talking about? You can't say that.
I can say
you
that.
can't say that.
I can.
No, I refuse to believe that. I do not accept that. After all that shit,
I've been
he's
saying
doing
it for
great.
weeks.
You flip-flopping son of a bitch.
Not in any way. I said that he didn't belong in the main event. He doesn't need to be pushed as a huge a fucking title contender and these kind of things. I said that.
No, now I'm getting
Now he's
reactive.
Now he's been pushed to a mid-card heel,
He's killing it.
and he's killing it.
He was killing it
Right?
before.
So no, he wasn't. Johnny.
was.
Everyone
Yes, he
hated him
was.
before,
Yes.
and not in the right way.
Yes, but he was building all that good heat with all that X-Pac heat.
I'll tell you what, man. If ever I need like a car price negotiated, I want you two present because you got the best bullshit in the business. Both of you.
You came in here tonight expecting I was going to defend this crap. I am not defending this crap.
I mean,
this draft was done horribly. It has split things that's only mildly interesting in a way that is so convoluted that I didn't understand it.
Right.
Once it's settled, I'm like, okay, so we have some interesting things to play with. But ultimately, when you keep switching all these things around, it doesn't matter. I'll wait 6 months to see if it actually sticks. They ruined one of the best characters I thought they had going, the thing that had me the most interested. What they've done recently has absolutely turned me off to what's going on. In no short order. However, there are a few things that will still always keep me interested. I will always tune into a Brock Lesnar segment because even at his worst, he has still been really good over the last several years. Mm-hmm. I'm still very into where Charlotte Flair can go and what she has done. Anytime she shows up, I believe I am guaranteed a quality segment in the same way as if The Miz is doing something, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be entertained for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. But other than that, what's gone on in the last 2 weeks since Hell in a Cell has absolutely been one of those moments where, as a fan of the WWE, and I am a WWE fan before I am just a wrestling fan, I will make that abundantly obvious.
That for sure.
It is absolutely one of those moments where I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't really interesting to me. Like, I'll tune into some other stuff. I'll watch some old product. I'll watch that Goldberg documentary. I'll just do whatever I want. And then in a few weeks, it'll either come back or it won't. And then it'll be WrestleMania season, and we'll get jazzed for a few months, and we'll go into the cycle again.
Yeah. Peaks
but
and valleys.
Look, this was a weird 2 weeks of television where the television they produced was not quality. And for us to assume that the next stuff is going to be quality would be very difficult. But I can't tell you that the next week of television will or won't be good. I just can tell you that at the moment, their trend is not doing very well after doing a few weeks of really good TV. So it's a very confusing moment to look at.
Not to make it nasty, but it's just like fucking.
Yeah.
WWE blew their load on that first SmackDown show, and the next show, maybe it was too soon to fucking get a hard on again and try fucking.
I mean, it's just.
I love how Johnny compared pro wrestling to fucking.
I mean, with the intensity,
within reason,
things couldn't be further apart from each other.
Yeah, man. I'll say it. Pro wrestling is great right now. AEW's good. NWA Power is even fucking good.
I haven't watched it, but I've heard great things about it.
It's
I know
good.
That whole crew.
It's good. New Japan is always pretty quality, and WWE, man, they put a lot of bells and whistles in our face, but, the problems were there, and I ignored them for a week because I was just like, I was like, hey, man, they've had a good little run here. Hell in a Cell was bad. Mm-hmm. The first Friday Night SmackDown, they pulled some things out, but also they're doing what they do. They're not pushing the current wrestlers. They're pushing part-timers who don't have to carry the show. And they're being like, well, look at all these shiny toys, and then they don't even give them to us on a real pay-per-view. They're sending them to Saudi Arabia. So it's like, all right, WWE, you got me again. You got me again. But like I said, I ain't going nowhere. I'm just gonna hate. I'll hate watch it to the end of days because I got a podcast about it. But there's no shortage of entertaining wrestling out there, and I implore you, if you're just watching WWE, you're not watching the quality wrestling. I'm telling you. But you know where the quality wrestling is going to be? Right here at the world famous Comedy Store.
Oh, do tell.
November 23rd. We're doing Storecade.
Yes.
Motherfucker. What's Storecade?
Storecade is the first ever live wrestling event at this venue in the Comedy Store in the main room. We're going to have pro wrestlers wrestling in the fucking main room.
Oh.
Are you kidding?
I'm fucking excited. See, that I'm excited about. That I want to see.
We're going to see Hurricane Rana's.
Yeah.
Where Bill Burgos tells jokes.
That's right. And you know who's going to be doing that shit?
Huh.
Enzo.
Oh.
The Lucha Brothers. AEW's own Lucha Brothers.
Go ahead.
We're going to see power bombs.
Yeah.
Eye bombs.
We're going to see fucking David Arquette, former WCW champion.
Yeah.
We're going to see Brian Pillman Jr.
Yes.
Dude, the card's stacking up. And there's more to come, guys. There's more to come. Tickets are available right now, but honestly, not that many are left, dude. The shits have been fucking moving ever since we announced it last week. So you need to get your shit together. Go to www.hollywood.thecomedystore.com. Get your tickets for Storecade. They ain't gonna last. We're a little more than a month away, and if you fucking BS, guess what? You're gonna miss out. So there it is, guys. Where can they find you in the meantime?
Find me on Instagram and Twitter at Johnny Scortis and in the Walker Zanger warehouse in North Hills, California, 913.
Nice. Maddie?
Guys, this is a big deal, okay? November 4th, New York City, my album recording for the New York Comedy Festival. New York Comedy Club in Gramercy. Guys, you got to be there, okay? I'm selling tickets. I need to sell more. I want it to sound amazing in there. 2 shows, 7 and 10. Guys, if you enter the promo code Yucca, you get half off. And half off of what? $10. So you're paying $5, motherfuckers. Come on, come see the Woken one and make his dreams come true.
Get out there, New York.
YUCCA, just like the tree.
There you go. Eddie?
Follow me on Instagram at I am Eddie Firth, on Twitter at Eddie Firth. November 15th, Pitch Fest is coming back to the Ruby for one final show before that venue closes down and finds a new spot. November 20th is the 5-year anniversary of Historical Roast here at the Comedy Store, celebrating 5 years. Jesus Christ, what have I done with my life? And then November 23rd, we're putting a fucking wrestling ring in the middle of the main room, and I'm gonna count the 3 on some of the very first matches in here since Andy Kaufman.
That's right.
Whoa.
I'm going to be screaming out into the ether over the last couple weeks of WWE television until I feel better about it. And then you can see me in a much happier state at Chris_please on all my social media stuff. Follow us at Store Horsemen on all the social media stuff. Get your fucking Storecade tickets immediately. No copyright infringement there. Holler at your boys. Never forget, Store Horsemen, you hook up. Holla if you hear us.